And welcome everyone to Magic Insiders. We are presented by International Diamond Center. Dante Marcatelli, Jake Chapman here with you. And I promise you, we're going to get through this together. We're going to figure this out. It's okay. It's frustrating last night, a difficult loss, but that's what a little Therapy Thursday will do for us here today. So hang in there and we'll get through it. We'll discuss it. We'll break it all down for you here. And the Magic losing last night. And I'm going to get this one of these days. I'm going to get this right. I'm going to mute the actual feed before I start talking.
All
So the
right.
Magic fall last night to the San Antonio Spurs, 114-112, a game they should have won. We'll get into everything. We know how Magic fans feel. Magic Twitter is a scary place right now, Jake. The sea is angry today, my friends. I think was a famous line. And I get it. There's a lot to be angry about. But a lot of it was preventable, and 99% of it was our fault with the way we approached that game, the way we played for 3.5 quarters before trying to pour it on. But the easy assessment is to get mad at the officials on the last call, which was not a foul. And that at that point of the game, how many times have we heard marginal contact, right? That was marginal contact, but we got all kinds of thoughts. We're going to break it all down. I want to hear from you. We're gonna get through this all together. But the Magic lose 114-112. They do so behind 31 points from De'Aaron Fox, and he gets the game-winning free throws with 1.4 to go. Magic still had one last chance to tie the game. An incredible defensive play by Luke Cornett came flying out of nowhere and swatted the ball out of bounds. So the Magic end up losing on that call at the end. You fight, you come all the way back. You missed 2 layups down the stretch. Desmond Bane was wide open, untouched, and missed a layup. Didn't even hit the rim. Jalen Suggs in transition missed a layup. Right, there was not a foul on either one of those calls. They just missed it, and that's unfortunate. That happens. Those guys are going to make those shots 99 times out of 100. Just last night was kind of quirky in that way. Let's start with the officials, Jake. Right, just want to get your thoughts on this. That foul was not called all night. That guys were getting hammered the entire night, hit across the arms, hit across the hands. That foul was not called all night. By the letter of the law, you can look and say that was a foul. But at some point, you have to go with the flow of the game. You have to use your eyes and see and realize how you've been judging this the entire game. To have the game decided by a reach-in foul is ridiculous. It is egregious, and it should never have happened. Now, the Magic can't use that as an excuse. They're the reasons they lost the game. They were not ready from the opening tip, and Jamal Mosley said that. We'll get to that as well. But that should not have been called at that point of the game because you didn't call it the entire game. If you had been calling it that way the entire game, that's one thing. I sat courtside and watched guys get knocked to the deck the entire night with no foul call. You can't call it at the end of the game. We're not guys that complain about fouls because it's a loser mentality to do that. But that was a bad call last night.
Yeah, the players, you don't want to hear the players complain about it. You and I can complain about it all we want, and I fully intend to. No, it felt like that. It felt like the game came down to the officials, and that's the one thing that you don't want. And for us, I swear Franz Wagner should have shot 16 free throws last night. I mean, the guy he might have the worst whistle in the league. He gets hammered time and time again. And it gets tiresome saying you got to play through it. You got to keep playing, Franz. At some point, you and I, as partial observers, it can be frustrating. And then when the game comes down to what is a very, very marginal contact type of reach-in foul on Jonathan Isaac, very frustrating. But like you said, you're down by 9 at half. It's a couple games now that you haven't come out early with the requisite energy to start the game, and that's going to come back and bite you, especially when you play a good team like San Antonio, who, boy, they just don't beat themselves. It's just a solid, well-coached, smart basketball team, and they were just a little bit better last night.
Well, and you got to give them credit. You take nothing away from San Antonio, and I like to take that game and send it to all 30 teams in the NBA and prove that it is possible to win on the second night of a back-to-back. and I know I know teams would hate to hear that, especially third game in 4 nights. That is impossible. You have a better chance of seeing a woolly mammoth at the arena than you do a third game in 4 nights. But it can be done. But I think we thought them getting in at 4 a.m., not having Wembanyama, third game in 4 nights, they're not going to be ready. And we thought we could just pour it on when we had to. So you have to me, this is a blessing in disguise. If you learn that lesson, if you realize that that's what cost you the game, was your approach. Coach Mosley said it last night. It was your spirit and your fight at the beginning of the game wasn't there. That was not Magic basketball except for 8 minutes, right? And that's what the takeaway needs to be from last night. If you don't learn that lesson, then it won't be any better on Friday. I think they will. I think they understand how they have to play the entire game. I think we'll see a different effort on Friday. Now, that being said, Jonathan Isaac is not on the floor to steal the ball away from De'Aaron Fox. Keep your hands up. Again, I think that's a lesson. That's the minister defense. That's one of the best defensive players in the NBA, and that's a lesson that I think he'll learn. You're out there to make it difficult for De'Aaron Fox to shoot over you, and I think when the ball's sitting right there in front of you, it's easy to reach. That's not the play they needed at that time. Jalen Suggs was upset with some of the fouls that he picked up. We needed him on the floor at the end of the game, and we didn't have that luxury. So again, there's a lot of mistakes. There was a dunk that was missed. I mean, how often is that going to happen? The layups, everything went San Antonio's way. And I don't think that would have happened had we started the game the right way.
Yeah, and somebody in the comments just said, it was Kyle Gaming said, refs gave us 3 free throws to tie it up. I mean, Franz, and granted, that was a foul, but in my opinion anyways. But
see, it goes both ways. That was not an egregious foul. I thought that was a bad call at the end of the game.
Well, there you go.
But he had been hammered all game and wasn't getting the call. I agree.
Well, exactly. But I think the bottom line is there's going to be games like that. And we always have games like that because of our style of play, because we shoot 30 free throws a night. And if you don't get near 30, you feel like something's wrong. But you can't keep looking down the bench midway through the third quarter and hoping Jace or Noah Penda gives you a spark of energy. Coach Mosley doesn't have that many bullets to fire, right? And both those guys, to their credit, have on Monday and Wednesday been the spark that you needed. But we needed early and often from the starters. And you're right. I mean, I call them cookie jar fouls, right? Like we get caught with our hand in the cookie jar so often. Coach Mosley says it ad nauseum. Show your hands late, and far too often last night. Jalen had a couple of them. You know, sometimes he's out of position. He's smacking, slapping at the ball and slapping down. And you're right. J.I. was in great position the second half of the play.
Exactly right.
But he had that hand reaching in, and with De'Aaron Fox, it's probably ill-advised. So it is what it is. You can't win them all, and hopefully you're right. Hopefully that's a bit of a wake-up call that you can't just sort of cruise control through games, regardless of how much rest the team you're playing is on or does not have. When you play a good team like San Antonio, rested or not, you got to mind your P's and Q's, and the Magic just kind of let that one slip away.
When you walk into the game thinking you're tired or thinking the opponent is going to be tired, that's a defeatist mentality. You have to go out there. You're in your early to mid-20s, right? And we're 22 games into the season, right? The team is – I know they got in at 4 a.m., but that's a young team that was hungry, and they took it to you. Okay, that's fine. That's going to happen. The other part of this, Jake, is you're going to have nights like this. There's 82 games in the season. You're going to have nights like this, and it's okay. Anthony Black had a tough night, 2 of 11. Desmond Bane, 6 of 15. Those guys deserve that. They're entitled to have an off night. Unfortunately, it happened together, and it just didn't go your way. And I love the comments. Keep them coming in. Jay Curve, we see you. Yes, you're right. Jace is doing fantastic right now. A lot of comments about Jace Richardson, and you're exactly right. But I like the comment here from Duval 87. Moral of the story is you have to play 48 minutes. And I think that's one thing that needs to be the lesson that you learned last night. And some nights you're going to get the whistle, some nights you're not. There is a thought out there that the Magic do not get a beneficial whistle, right? They lead the league in free throw attempts.
Yeah.
You can't have it both ways. The Magic parade to the free throw line 30 times a game. David Steele's note last night was they're shooting 80% from the line, and they get there 30 times per game. You know how many other times that's happened in NBA history? Going back to 1947, 9.
Wow.
We would be the 10th team in NBA history to shoot this percentage at 30 attempts, right? We are getting the whistle every night. We are getting the whistle. Last night, it went against us at the end of the game, but we are getting to the free throw line better than anybody. So that thought needs to not be out there. But I do think, Jake, after all of this, I think Coach got everyone's attention last night, and I think we realize, and listen, I don't mind the loss if it keeps that from happening again the rest of the way. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think this was a wake-up call. I think they get it. And I do think they're entitled to have an off night, to just not have the energy that you need. Unfortunately, it was a perfect storm last night. Nothing went our way, but I think they're going to learn from it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think there's some blessing in disguise stuff with this, because as a young team, and especially one that's that's beginning to play its best basketball. Boy, there've been a whole lot of press clippings the last couple of days, right? You got
That's true,
ESPN
too.
interviews
Yes.
and everybody, oh, the Magic have turned it around. And as soon as you start reading and believing that stuff, and I'm not saying that's what the guys did, but I think it's just human nature to not have that same sort of hungry approach. And certainly at the beginning of games. And, one comment was one comment mentioned just kind of the reaching and the over physicality. To me, that's being out of position. You get called for fouls when you're not moving your feet and you're trying to make up for the lost ground by slapping at the basketball. You're out of position. And so for sure, I think it can be a positive moving forward. You're not going to win them all. And you've got some tough teams and tough games coming up now. So hopefully this locks you back in because, there were a couple performances last night that you just haven't necessarily seen the past couple weeks. Desmond Bane going 6 for 15 last night. Yeah. That's not the norm right now. Wendell was 2 for 9. AB was 2 for 10. Those have been 3 of your best players, most efficient offensive players the past week or two. So you chalk it up to losing. And by the way, the Spurs are 15-6 and now 7-2 without Wembanyama and Steph Castle. So it's a good team. It's a well-coached team.
Yes.
They don't beat themselves, and they've got veterans, guys like Harrison Barnes, Champagnie, and Cornette, and Fox, obviously. But then they've got some good young talent as well. I thought Dylan Harper played pretty well. I thought had a whole bunch of turnovers, but he impacted the game. You can sort of see the upside there with that guy. And so, it is what it is. You lose to a good team, and now you got to get back on the horse on Friday.
Well, and look at it's a game one of the margins, and you look at Dylan Harper made some big shots. He hit some big free throws down the stretch, right? He got that tough and one with Suggs towering above him, somehow got that to go, and we missed a dunk, and we missed layups, and it just was, everything was uncharacteristic. I don't think that's going to happen again. It was just the perfect storm for San Antonio to get the win. But to me, San Antonio got rewarded for playing the right way. They came out hungry. They went after, they took the fight to Orlando, and they earned that victory. So the comments, I think, are fantastic, especially from M. Rahim. And we let Fox get to his spots too easily last night. That was it. And you mentioned that, Jake, the physicality wasn't there. That was a big part of it. You let a guy like that get going. Devin Vassell, we let him walk into wide open shots. Guy like that gets feeling good. He's going to knock down some shots, some big ones down the stretch. Charlie, I love your attitude as well. Last night's game was such a good game. I know we didn't win, but wow, what a fun game to watch. And I will say that before we go to break, Jake, the fight on this team, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if there's 2 minutes left or 20 minutes left. They're going to take this thing down to the end. I thought they were dead in the water. I just thought it was one of those games where they were running in mud and they weren't going to be able to get out of it. And next thing you know, they're down by 1 with the basketball. Jalen Suggs on a breakaway with a minute left and a chance to take the lead. Absolutely remarkable that they were even in that position, in my opinion. And I think you have to credit Jace Richardson. I think it was a night where he came in, completely changed the tide of that game. 8 points in 16 minutes. He was a +9. The only one better was Goga Batadze at a +10. He was sensational. Big buckets. He made things happen on the defensive end, and he got out in transition. I was very impressed with the Magic rookie last night.
Yeah, I thought he was fantastic. But he just has this confidence about him. He knows what he's capable of, and there is no, I'm going to ease my way into it. It's like, give me the ball and watch. And to be a rookie, to be a late first round pick, and to have sort of the stature or the lack of stature of a guy like that. I mean, he's unconscious. And he's not just chucking either. He's taking efficient shots. He gets wherever he wants to get on the floor with the ball in his hands. And you just feel like it's strange to say this, but you feel like every shot he takes is going in. Like, it's just the guy seems like he heats up immediately. That changed the game on its ear. You mentioned Goga. I thought he played really well. But you just didn't have enough pop from your principals last night. And that's going to happen time to time. So we'll see how it rolls on Friday.
How about this for a little perspective? Our good friend, Unlikely Jellyfish. And I love that he's not going to change that name. He's holding on to it, right? He's holding on to that name. And
better.
I wish I could be half as good as any of our players. So that's fair.
It's good perspective.
Yeah, not listening to anything we're saying, just Christmas saying that, just making an observation. And you're not wrong. You're not wrong, Unlikely Jellyfish. You're not wrong. But anyway, I think they'll learn from it. I think they'll be better off for it. The last thing I'll say is, and then we got duck in a break. I know we're well past it, but maybe we let someone else beat us other than De'Aaron Fox. That guy has played us 13 times. In 5 of those games, he's gone for 30. Now, he does that to a lot of teams, but he's got a lot of confidence playing against the Orlando Magic. And because Suggs had 5 fouls, you had Franz Wagner on him. It was a tough night for Anthony Black, just wasn't himself. So you went with Franz on him, and that's a tough cover for Franz. That's very tough, and he did the best he could, and he made him take some tough shots. But De'Aaron Fox at the end of a game, you might just throw four guys. I live with Julian Champagny beating us at the end if it's not De'Aaron Fox, but easier said than done. He's a great player for a reason. He's an all-star for a reason, and man, some of his best games, unfortunately, have come at the expense of the Orlando Magic. The court will be alive with intensity as the Magic welcome the Denver Nuggets on Saturday, December 27th for a showdown full of speed, skill, and nonstop action. You like that? Is that an AI script, you think, or do you think somebody typed that out?
Definitely.
Okay, definitely. Yeah. Two powerhouse teams will battle for every point in a thrilling matchup that will keep fans on the edge of their seats. Secure your tickets now at OrlandoMagic.com, and don't miss the excitement at Kia Center. We're not AI in this thing. Jake and I are the real thing, and we'll be back in a moment with more Magic Insiders and your comments, only your comments, when we return. And welcome back to Magic Insiders live stream. Great to have you with us here on the Orlando Magic YouTube channel. And again, you can find Magic Insiders every Monday through Friday on 96.9 The Game. We want you to tune in there whenever you get a chance, or you can stream it on the iHeart app or whatever works for you, and you can listen to it after the fact. It is loaded up there live throughout the year. We'll give away tickets. We do interviews. We do these live streams once a week. So we're always excited to chat with you guys. So we encourage you to check into that. Let's get to our call of the game. It's brought to you by Glip from Ring Central. Rethink the way you work with secure meetings and messaging on any device with Glip by Ring Central. Visit glip.com to learn more. And my call of the game is, as frustrating as that game was last night, our game ended, and I look up at the TV, and the Miami Heat are losing at Dallas. Miami goes to the Dallas Mavericks, one of the worst teams in the Western Conference, and they drop one on the road. Yeah, so they're going to come here angry on Friday, and it is very difficult. We've already beaten them on opening night. We beat them twice in the preseason. It's tough to keep pounding your in-state rivals. Hopefully you can and make that happen on Friday and again for the Cup Finals on Tuesday, but certainly not going to be easy. Very difficult to sweep a team throughout the course of a season, and this would be 4 consecutive wins if they're able to beat Miami tomorrow.
Yeah, what are we doing? Best of 9 with these guys this year? Can you imagine if we play them in the postseason? It'll be electric no matter what if we play Miami in the postseason, but that'll literally be like 12 games when all is said and done. No, it's look, it's that time of year, right? I think there's a lot going on in everybody's head. And then you throw in the Emirates NBA Cup, and it's added travel. It's okay.
Yes.
We got Tuesdays circled.
Right.
So I think you got some teams getting caught up in those things, not making excuses at all. But any given night in this league, it's really difficult to sustain good basketball week after week, which is part of the reason you look at Oklahoma and go, "Holy smokes,
amazing!
What
oh my goodness,
happening there?" But it's even the best teams in the league are going to have those trip up nights. Detroit lost last night to Milwaukee, right? So
yes, right. Without Giannis, and Giannis got hurt in that game.
Giannis got hurt in that game. So it's happening across the league right now. It's that time, and the trick is, not to let it linger, to learn that lesson, and then to get back at it tomorrow with a renewed approach against the Miami Heat.
Well, Jay Curve always has perspective too. The state of Florida got swept by Texas, so that's what happened last night. So hey, you can live with that. And the Magic didn't drop down in the standings, so you stay 5 here in the East. But unfortunately, you didn't pick up ground, which would have been a great opportunity to do so. But you had won 9 of 11. So this Magic team, that was tied for the second most wins in the last 11 games. So you're afforded the ability to have a loss. You just know that was a preventable one, and hopefully you can bounce back here tomorrow night against Miami. Kyle Gaming, good question. Timeline for Paolo, still not taking contact. So I think we know on this show, I will know the exact day of Paolo's return as soon as I get my hands on the missile launch codes from NORAD. So I don't think we're going to know exactly when. I'm going to keep saying that until I ultimately get my hands.
I'm going to guess Tuesday. I don't know which Tuesday, but I'm going to say a Tuesday.
He's going to say it's going to be a Tuesday. Got to be getting closer, Jake. Last night was the 10th consecutive game that he's missed. I again don't know that he's doing a whole lot in practice, but all that, we're never going to know. We're never going to find out exactly what's going on. But I think what's happening, you would lend to believe that maybe it was a little more than they thought originally. I think even for Paolo, when he first came out and said, I think we dodged a bullet here. Hopefully I can be back soon. You can't play with this thing, because when he comes back, you want him to be back ready to go. You need that guy for the rest of the season, and hopefully, by giving him time to properly heal, you'll be able to do that.
Especially because of the changes we talked about, the personnel changes, Desmond Bain in the offensive philosophy shift. He played 11 games, and Magic were 5-6 when he went down, and so we hadn't quite figured out what it all looks like. So the point is, when he comes back, there can't be any start and stop. He's got to be absolutely sure that injury is gone.
Yes.
And because we need him for the long haul, obviously. Did it take a loss, Dante, to put an end to the stupid notion that we're a better team without Paolo Banchero? I said at one point last night, I said, Paul, you know what this team could use right now? Paolo Banchero.
P5, a 250-pound, 6'10 forward that creates mismatch problems every single night. I know. Can we get rid of that notion? That is absolutely idiotic. You made the point yesterday on Magic Insiders. The Spurs went 6-2 without Victor Wembanyama, now 7-2 without Wembanyama. Is anyone in San Antonio saying we're better off without Wemby? No. So it's an idiotic notion for anyone to think that this team would ever, in any scenario, be better off without Paolo Banchero. And he hopefully will be back soon, and we'll see that again. We'll be reminded, everybody, with our own eyes here coming up momentarily. Paolo and Mo coming back after the All-Star break. Ajax, I wouldn't – it's not going to be that long. I know it's frustrating not knowing at all when they're going to come back, but it's not going to be that long. Mo Wagner is one we don't really know, Jake, because
he had a cryptic Instagram post. Did you see that?
Oh, I did not see that. I like cryptic.
It said
messages.
In German. It said soon without the sweater because he was wearing a hoodie last night on the bench.
Oh,
soon
like
without
that.
the sweater. Yeah.
Well, we were always thinking
that's as close to medical news as you're going to get on Magic Insider.
That's just if you can crack that code. But you know what? That's the most information we've gotten in 6 months. So we'll take it. And it's right from the source himself. The injury happened almost a year ago exactly, right, for Mo Wagner. So the ACL is about that long. And if it's usually 10 or 11 months, it might be a little bit longer here in the NBA. They don't rush people back, no question. We kind of had it in the back of our head maybe around Christmas. So hopefully Mo Wagner may be back. And then you have a luxury, Jake. You have Goga Batadze, Mo Wagner, Jonathan Isaac. You have all of a sudden you have a ton of options there with some size on any given night.
And options with different skill sets as well. But Goga's surging right now, and you have to wonder if he's sort of putting up one last argument for those backup center minutes.
Good point.
I think those guys are all going to have roles because of what I just said. Because Mo's obviously a little bit more of an offensive-minded backup five. Wendell's kind of a do-it-all, catch-all type of center, and then Goga's going to give you the rim protection. Goga's actually been distributing the basketball in those handoff sets pretty well. Also, so you can never have enough size in this league, and it is going to be kind of a trick to divvy up the minutes. As soon as Mo is ready to go, you're obviously going to have him out there, just because of what it means to the team and because you want to see where he's at and you want to get him those minutes
right.
to get back up to speed. But Goga Batadze, I don't think is going anywhere when Mo comes back. It'll be interesting though. There's only so many minutes at that position, and Wendell Carter Jr. is having a really good season as well.
Yeah, everybody's liking your comments here on Mo Wagner, so hopefully that means not too much further here down the road. The other thing to think about is that guy wants to play January 15th in Berlin, right? So that he's going to do everything he can to make sure he's back for that basketball game, and they're not going to put him out there if he's not fully cleared. But I would imagine he may show up anyway. That guy's playing tonight.
He's just limping around. Just go in the post. We'll dump it down. We got you, buddy.
We'll figure it out. That guy's going to find a way to play in that basketball game. I love this from Orlando Magic. 8210. And I first of all, why 8210? I find it hard to believe 8,209 were taken, but you just had to go to the next one. But maybe it was. Do you feel Franz and Dez will make the All-Star game this season? Don't you feel like those two have made it might be tough for Paolo with games missed unless he gets back very soon. But those two have made quite a case for themselves, I think.
I think Franz is, especially with the new format, right? Like there's going to be, I believe, 8 international players.
Yes.
I think Franz is a shoo-in in that regard. With Dez, it's, can he play like he has basically the last month? And how many wins do we have? That's going to be the big thing.
Yes, right. Correct.
Desmond Bain's numbers are fantastic. But they're going to be other guys who probably have a little bit better counting stats. Are we third in the Eastern Conference or sixth? That could make the difference, in my opinion. How many games above 500 are you? Is it a thing where coaches are looking and they're saying, boy, the Magic are, close to the class of the Eastern Conference. They need 2 All-Stars.
Right.
because if it is, then I think Dez will be the second one. But I think Franz Wagner is headed towards his first All-Star appearance. Knock on wood. As long as he stays healthy and keeps doing this, for sure.
Well, and I think you guys like Jalen Duren are going to have a shot to get in for the first time as an All-Star. I think you're looking at 2 Pistons no matter where they finish up.
For sure.
You're probably going to get 6 Thunder players in there. They might be 39-1 at that point.
Isaiah Joe, All-Star.
So and then there's injuries too, right? Other guys that are deserving might be hurt, right? You might see some of that.
There's plenty of injuries, Dante.
There's plenty of injuries. I know.
That soft tissue is in a bad place across the league right now.
That was funny. We were joking last night off air. We used to play 4 games in 5 nights, and I don't remember this many injuries, right? Then now that is something you did have to get away from, and I'm glad they've done that. Not playing that many games. All right, Jake. Any other comments stand out that we should address before we break and get out of here? The Magic again hosting the Miami Heat here tomorrow. And Jake Curve, how about that? Anthony Black, most improved. Could there be a possibility for that?
Most improved. I think we had a comment yesterday about 6-man.
Yes,
again, if the team keeps winning, and with AB, obviously, like it's got to go closer to that stretch of 8 games. Maybe a little bit more so than it did last night, but he has been surging obviously throughout the month of November and now into December. All of those things, all of those awards, we're going to have guys in those conversations as long as we're one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the Eastern Conference. But you got to get there first. It always goes like that as far as the postseason awards go. Find the team and then find the player on the team who is the candidate for all of those awards. AB, I think, is going to be in the conversation for both of those for sure.
Listen, let's stay on for a few minutes. We're going to close it out for Magic Insiders on 96.9 The Game. So we thank everybody for tuning in to this edition of Magic Insiders right here on 96.9 The Game. And for all of us, we're going to stay on this stream for a few more minutes because I love the comments that are coming in. We want to have a chance to make sure everybody feels that their voice was heard here on this live stream. And I see now, world, we have to be a smarter team. And I think for the most part, I think we are. I think we are a very smart team. And Jake, the Spurs are a team that don't hurt themselves. That's what the Magic have been. They've been a very low turnover team during the last 11 games. Yeah, they made some mistakes last night, but I think a lot of things that happened last night were uncharacteristic. That's not what we do. We usually get out in transition. We're able to get to the basket. We're able to score in the paint. We're able to get to the free throw line. None of those things happened last night. I think the biggest concern for me is still can't shoot the basketball right now. We got to find a way. You don't need to start every game 3 for 15 from 3, right? If we can have a couple of games where we come out hot to start the game, what would that do for this Magic group? We offense is up there. We're one of the best offensive rated team. We're scoring in the paint, scoring off turnovers. Second chance points are off the charts. We're not shooting well. We got to solve that problem ultimately, don't we?
Yes, and I think it's a work in progress. The one thing that I do like is we don't take 43s if we're going to shoot 27% from 3-point range. We take 33s.
Agreed.
So that's growth.
Got to find that. We got to find that right number. We got to find the right number.
Underplayed last night was since Wemby went out, San Antonio was really bad rebounding, and they out-rebounded us last night.
Correct.
And that is something that night in and night out, whether it's second chance points and crashing the offensive glass or cleaning up and making sure they don't, we need to be dominant in the rebounding category, especially against a team like that without Victor Wembanyama. They had 4 smalls and Luke Cornett on the floor for a lot of the game. And so that's not necessarily on Wendell. I think he had 9 boards. He did his job. It's not on Goga specifically. That's a team stat. And with the size that we trot out there night in and night out, we should be pounding teams on the glass. We have been the last few weeks. I think that's one of those areas where you say, boy, we just needed to be a little bit tougher, a little bit grimier last night. And it's a San Antonio team that, they're smart and they don't beat themselves, but they play hard too. And they're physical when they need to be. And I thought they went toe to toe with us last night on our home floor. And there's not a lot of teams who do that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I like this from Kyle Gaming. So many pull-up threes with 18 seconds left on the clock. Those are the ones that kill me.
You wrote that one.
I don't begrudge anybody a good look if you're open, but the ball's got to move first. You got to pass.
We
it
got
around
a good
the perimeter.
2 for 1 last night too, Dante. I know you were. I know you were jacked.
Do it 2 for 1 if you got a good look at the first one. Don't just fire it up from midcourt so you can get the ball back and have a chance to shoot it up before the clock is over. But I think there's ways to approach that. But if the ball moves around, everybody touches it, and you're wide open, sure, let it rip. But if that's not the case, then you don't need to shoot that. Maybe move it around. Tristan has to get back on track. I thought he did last night. There was a stretch there in that first half. He might have been our best offensive player.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that's a little bit frustrating is we have not done that this year. Last year was a big sore spot for me. Guy would score 10 straight points and it's burning our hands to get anyone else a shot but that person. We have done a bad job at times over the years of identifying the man that's got it going. That has not been the case this year. When someone's had it going, we have found them the entire year. Last year, Tristan had it going and we froze him out. Everybody decided I'm going to get mine, and they froze him out. And that was disappointing because that could have been a game where Tristan could have carried you. Jalen had it going offensively too. That's why the foul trouble hurt you. Those two played well enough to carry you and dig you out of that hole. This question here from Prying AA. What do you think is the best rotation for Jace to fit into?
Ooh, that's a good question because obviously I think
because
conversation
Tyus is playing better now. I mean, Tyus is he's kind of figured things out here over the last 10 or 15 games.
Dude, I said it yesterday on our pregame stream. Go back to the beginning of November, Dante.
How many
Tyus
streams
Jones,
do you do? You do how many streams?
Several
do you do?
streams. Row your boat gently down. All of my streams.
Pregame, you do a pregame stream, you do a Magic Live
stream, and Dewberry had the audacity to ask me to keep going yesterday.
Oh, keep going. keep going.
And I literally on the stream, I picked up the phone. I said, "No, we got to go eat." You know what he said? A great producer. He said, "That's fair."
That's fair. Fair enough. Fair enough. We'll bring food to you. Chrissy can eat for you. Chrissy will eat for you. How many streams? I wonder how many streams we do as an organization. How many streams do we do? Every home game stream. Kendra does a stream. At least 6 and 7. We have a guy, Mike Izzo, in our mailroom does a stream. Everybody does a stream.
Obad's got a stream.
Yeah. Everybody. I like the Mike Izzo stream, though. There's some good content on there. But Jace Richardson coming into his own, and I think
I just had my nugget. Hold on. Tyus Jones.
Yes, go.
Since the beginning of November, 35 assists, 3 turnovers.
Amazing. I knew when he was 22-1. Now it's 35 to 3. That's impressive. That's impressive.
So look, that's what he's here for. And Jace is different, right? Like Jace is gonna have the ball in his hands. He's gonna profile almost more of a combo guard because of his scoring ability. And so I think I hesitate to say it's just as simple as just slide him in because Tyus is I think Tyus Jones is doing his job, and I think having him within that second unit with Anthony Black specifically, I think that's kind of the vision there. I don't know. I think Jace is just going to have to be patient. There's, Jet Howard scored 31 points and didn't play the next night. And so there's going to be, I think, instances like that. He's got plenty of time. And I even said last night, I said, it's getting to break glass in case of emergency time. And like 2 minutes later, Jamal Mosley
Yes.
I was like, we need a little juice here, and we don't have Mo Wagner. And Juice Richardson came in, and he did a hell of a job.
Yes, he did. Ooh, you might be onto something. A little Juice Richardson reference. I like. Is that
I can't give them all Juice nicknames. I'm trying to, but that
did we drop that on the Magic Radio Network? Did that happen on the Magic Radio Network last night?
Obviously,
Juice Richardson.
That's where I try out all my material.
Yes, I like that. That was fantastic. And you do have, and I like these. Kyle is right. You do have deep team problems. It is a good thing. And when everybody's fully healthy, there's going to be flat out, full on battles for minutes. And a guy like Jet, who had his career high 30 that you mentioned the other night, it's going to be hard to find minutes. It's going to be hard for Noah Penda to have consistent minutes. You're always going to try J.I., and if it's one of those nights where he's got it and he's blocking everything, then it's probably not going to be a Penda night. If J.I. is struggling a little bit, then you're going to see Noah. It's just going to be kind of touch and go from here on out as you continue to kind of feel things out. But I think at the end of the day, you're going to have a situation last night where it was a perfect storm. Nothing went your way. You've learned your lesson. Coach called you out post game, said you played 8 good minutes of basketball. That's not how we can start. The way you've started games has been a problem, really, the last handful of games, hasn't it?
And it was so good at the beginning of the year, Dante.
Yes,
we were one of the top 5 teams in the league for the first month of the season in terms of first quarter scoring and first quarter scoring margin. So I don't know. I don't know what that's about. I'm not that smart, but we got to fix it.
We got to fix it. Yeah, exactly. It starts tomorrow against the Miami Heat. We'll have it for you at 6:30 on 96.9 The Game with Jake Chapman on the call. Brandon Kravitz with your pregame show. We'll have it for you at 6:30 on FanDuel Sports Network. The Magic and the Miami Heat upcoming games. Look ahead. Powered by Ticketmaster. I guess it doesn't matter because we're off the Magic Insiders radio show, but you've got that game.
We
Then
still
you've got a noon
appreciate it.
game on Sunday. Do you like leaving? Heading up there for a noon game at Madison Square Garden?
Kind of. Just the idea of a matinee at MSG. That sounds kind of cool.
Are you closer here in Orlando or where they put you in the building at Madison Square Garden?
I would be probably better off at the in the juice box with the old setup.
That's what it
There's
sounds
way
like.
more space in there as well. That's for sure.
By the way, I got this for a question last night. Last thing, and then I promise we're wrapping up. A fan came up to me and said, "Do you think Mike Breen would be cool if I took a picture with him?" And I said, I really don't know him that well enough. I said, if you could find him, sure. He goes, well, he's right over there. I said, he goes, don't you work with him? And I said, if by
That's
David Steele you mean Mike Breen, I said, yeah. I said that's David Steele. I can put in a word for you, maybe get a picture with David Steele. I don't know Mike Breen. I don't know his schedule enough. Is that have you heard that as a common do people get those two confused?
I mean, no.
Both the top of the top broadcasters, but I'm saying
top of the top
like to bump into
broadcasters.
David and be like, Mr. Breen, this is a pleasure.
I could see, the profile, right? Right. They've got glasses. They're both amazing broadcasters with glasses. That's
Easy mistake. I get it. All right, that'll do it for Magic Insiders presented by International Diamond Center. We'll see you tomorrow, 6 o'clock on 96.9 The Game. Have a great night, everybody.